Yeah.
Today I would like to introduce to you guys the problem that's going on in the major leagues. It is a controversy between what kind of what bats are used. Next. In the past, what's the ongoing problem going on now in the major leagues is that the majority of Major League Baseball players are using maple bats, and maple bats are supposedly a stronger kind of wood than the natural ash woods used in the past. The maple bats have been causing a lot of problems because they've been injuring a lot of people, and they've been causing a lot of commotion because when these bats have been breaking, they have been exploding. Literally, they at the breaking point, they explode off the bat and they fly to sometimes 100 feet or so. And the problem is, at the breaking point, the bats are very sharp, and they can actually hurt somebody. They can actually damage their skin. They can actually punch through the skin. And this is an ongoing problem because Days has injured a few people, players, it's injured fans, and it's only been minor injuries now. It hasn't been anything serious to the point where it's been mortal, but this is becoming an ongoing problem that has been just elaborating to the point that it needs to be talked about, needs to be controversial about. And I come here to show you that major leaguers should be using ash wood bats instead of these maple bats. These are a few injuries of some people. There's a flying shot of bat head. As you see, that's the bat head, and where the bat broke at near the handle is very sharp and can actually puncture somebody. And here's where an actual bat actually injured an umpire. It cut him right here in the side of the head, and he had to be treated and would left the game. This began back in 2001 when Barry Bonds ended up hitting 73 home runs in a year. And he was the first to really venture out and start using these maple bats. And you know, the difference that people like this because the ball sounds so much different, and it actually feels a little better than ash woods. And a lot of things happening, you know, with the rise in demand because all of a sudden Barry Bonds decided to go hit 73 home runs. Okay, which not always was the bat, as people found out he was using steroids, even though he says unknowingly. And he also, you know, there was a rise in demand in maple bats, and also many of the big wood bat corporations, such as Louisville Slugger, Nocona, stuff like that, big bat companies like that, were saying that the ashwood forests were thinning out, and it was becoming less and less and harder to find these ashwood bats. Next. The difference between maple and ash, there are certain differences. The maple bats, they are of a heavier wood, they're higher density. So when you have to make bats out of this wood, you need to actually kill dry it, which is it's a way to take out the moisture out of it. So when you take out the moisture out of it, it makes these bats very dry, very rock hard, and very brittle. And that's why when Major League Baseball players hit these balls right on the bat, it feels as if you're hitting the ball so much harder because you're literally hitting pretty much like a piece of rock. You know what I mean? But studies have come out that it's almost the ball and the bats used, either ash or wood, ash or maple, come out exactly the same. Ashwood do not need to be dried because the density is not that high. So you don't need to use it. You don't need to dry it out so players can use it. They retain moisture, but the big difference is why people are saying that they should use ashwood bats is because instead of exploding like the maple bats, they are just splintering and they just damage a little bit, and that's it. Bud Selig, which is the commissioner of the Major League Baseball, is acting upon this controversy of this whole phenomenon that's going on, and he actually appointed an 8-member committee for health and safety commissions. There are 8 people from the Major League Baseball Players Association, which is their union, so to say, and also 8 front office members, which are the guys who pretty much run the organizations. And they are coming up with many suggestions on how to do it, how to confront this problem, whether to use bigger bats or bigger handles, or just cutting maple off the plant so you don't end up running the risk of deaths, punctures, you know, something, you know, where it can be very, very, very bad. Next. Some of the coaches have spoken out on this, such as St. Louis Cardinals coach Tony La Russa, and he said, "You see it every night, bat head flying across the field. It seems like there's a problem. If there is, I hope they do something about it." Coaches are coming up about this same stuff. Joe Madden, which is the coach of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, says the Maple Bats turning into a Claymore Man of baseball. I don't like it. If we're going to wait for somebody to actually get killed or impaled, we're going to wait too long. Something needs to be done, and that is something that when people in the game are talking about it, and coaches and media and everything, it's got to be a controversy because you're obviously something wrong, and we need to do something about it. You need to avoid these future risks for baseball. They need to do something, and they need to fix this problem. Cut it.